Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody. It's Thursday, 9 p.m., 4th of March, 2021. We are on our series of What is That Not the End? And today we're going to talk about Does Purgatory Exist? And it's a pleasure to have you here. And I wish you have a good understanding of what we're going to explain today. And before we go any further, I would like to say, Faite, welcome. It's a pleasure to be here from Ireland.
Hello, dear friends. It's very nice to be here again. Wonderful time with you. So we have news today to discuss, understand that we are in a big room and we are sitting together and thinking together, learning together. So, thank you.
Labas vakaras visiems, labas. Šiandien turėsime dar vieną pokalbį apie dvasingumą ir nušviesime gyvenimo klausimus. Tikiuosi, kad jums bus naudinga. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching us and thank you for being now live with us. But thank you if you're watching it later. It's very important to have you here. And we are very happy and pleased to spread the word, to talk about spirituality, spiritism, and the light that we have inside us, and share it with you all. So hope you enjoy the Purgatory today.
Bonjour, bonsoir, les dames d'abord, comme on dit en français. Très heureux d'être avec vous ce soir pour apprendre ensemble sur cette belle philosophie qui nous aide tellement par ces temps difficiles. Et donc, en particulier aujourd'hui, le purgatoire, encore une notion qu'on nous a souvent appris quand on était petit et puis qu'il faut décortiquer un peu pour voir vraiment ce qu'il en est. Thanks a lot to all. Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. It's a big pleasure being here again for this Spiritual Light series, talking about Spiritist teachings, and today most particularly about purgatory, showing what it is not, and making again sorting out from what is really reality and what is fiction in these notions that we have learned in our teachings, religious teachings we got when we were young. So thanks a lot for this opportunity, listening us.
Great, thank you all, thank you Charles, thank you Nadja, thank you Elsa. So I'm gonna show a video, 1 minute video, 1 minute, and then we can just warm up our discussion here. Let me put here the video. 1 second. Okay, so this is a excellent movie, No Solar. I highly recommend you to watch it. We do have this in translated in several languages, so please don't miss it and watch if you can. But today's discussion that's the first part of the movie, is the Purgatory, and if this exists or do not exist. We need to understand that the creation, we said in the previous week, heaven and hell, it was a creation by the human being, okay, and in which we need to decide when goes the good, when goes the bad, and this is part of the history. And also we needed to understand this, the ideas we have today, it's composed by pieces of the history. Okay, so according to those who have had a religious background, either learning in school or have your teachings by yourself, Purgatory is the place where we're gonna suffer. Usually it's called in the lower part, you go down, okay, and then we're gonna suffer. And it's, some people say this is where you're gonna burn. There's also is a dark place. In other words, it's totally opposite of what we think is good for us. But the question today we try to answer and we're going to discuss here is this suffering a real thing or not? And for this reason, I ask Elsa for your first thoughts about it. You're in mute, Elsa.
Thank you. So it's very interesting because this book, Heaven and Hell, that is easy to download, free on the internet, you can have an idea: hell, heaven, and also purgatory. Purgatory was introduced because didn't have a purgatory before, only heaven or hell. But purgatory was introduced in 519th century. Before that, no mention to purgatory, but the church brought it alive for everyone. That was not too bad, but was evil, went to purgatory. So the purgatory is the principle of purgatory is thus founded on equity, because if compared to human justice, it resembles temporary detention rather than a life sentence. As you saw in the small video that we showed before, that is come from the No Solar video, No Solar film. So André Luiz, a doctor that died, he was not a good person, but not a bad person as well. So he went to purgatory. Purgatory was, of course, souls in needs, that souls that wants to recover, to be in another places, etc., but they don't have knowledge about how to do it. But the benefactors are going there and helping them as soon as they wake up and said, "Oh, I need help, I need help." So it just this time they are ready to rescue them, to take them to the colonies, to recover as a spirit, which is spiritual nutrients, spiritual recovery, in order to redo things again. So as I said before, in each lifetime, an opportunity is presented to the soul to enable it to take a step forward. The length of this step forward depends on its will. So the benefactor respects our free will, which enables it to rise several degrees or to remain in the same place. In our episode today, we will explain all about it according to Spiritist science and philosophy with some religiosity, because we need to have faith that everything passes. We can be better tomorrow if I have faith in myself in order to improve my soul, to be a better person, to live our vicissitudes, because we need to evolve, but it's up to us, it's up to our free will to decide what I want for my future. Because my future is not only tomorrow or 10 years or 20 years. My future is eternal because I die, I'm reborn, and die and reborn again as much as times I need to really evolve. So the purgatory is in between, but it's a place that you not stay there forever, as we are learning here now. It's okay.
Yes, it
Do you
is.
agree with me?
Thank you. Yeah, great. And Nadja, what's there?
Hi, yeah, sorry, it just cut a little bit your voice, but yeah, I just want to compliment what Elsa was saying about the church, no, saying that creating the purgatory um, after many centuries. For the evangelical and Protestant believers, they don't believe that purgatory exists. No? So they just believe in heaven or hell. So or you go to heaven or you go to hell. So they don't believe that you have this opportunity, no? to rethink about what you have done when you are in the purgatory, as we mentioned before, and in the video was showing it. In this place, you have this moment that you have to rethink what you have done and how was your life, how your life was, and when you really regret and believe that you need that help, and then that the person or the spirit starts asking for help from the guides. And our guides, our spiritual guides, they go down their vibrational level, because we have the more connected to the material world we are, the heavier is our perispirit, so our spirit, and the more spiritual we are, the lighter is this vibrational part of us, this energy of us. And then our mentors, our spiritual guides who are more evolved, they go there to this place where these souls are suffering and asking for help from their heart and help them to evolve. So it is a moment that you have to go through. This idea of being a place that is bad and like fire, like hell, but not so fiery, not so hot, let me say, was pictured by Dante Alighieri. We were talking about heaven and hell in the last week, and Dante Alighieri in the Divine Comedy in the 14th century, he wrote about it, and he pictured and painted it. So painted the hell, the purgatory, and heaven. And in the purgatory, there was it was like a rock, like a mountain with the sins that the human person or the human souls have. And during this, he discussed all the things, all the lust, or all the envy, the pride, while he's going up to the heaven when he meets his beloved Beatrice. So the idea of this punishment, this place of punishment, was not so hot as the hell, but you had to go there. But we only go there to reveal what we have done. And because we are imperfect souls, we have our imperfections. And as Elsa said, we are reincarnating, we are dying the body, and we are living again and rebirthing. So we can improve ourselves and transform our lives into a better life, and transforming our souls, and going step by step in every reincarnation and being better and less materialist and more spiritual. And this connects us to God. So, what do you think, Charles?
Yes, Nadia, thanks a lot for your statement, also for Elsa. Of course, Purgatory is the name, purge. We have to purge something, purge imperfections, purge problems. Is, as you told, something intermediary between heaven and hell, because this binary vision, or irrevocably heaven or irrevocably hell, is not acceptable if we is not compatible with God's infinite goodness. So, of course, as you told, Jesus didn't talk about purgatory in the Gospels, so it has been invented later on in the 5th or 6th century, and for a certain number of reasons. And today, with the Spiritist teachings, with the communication we receive from the spirits, which are gathered in the book as I just showed, Heaven and Hell from Allan Kardec, we can really see that there are some spirits which are telling us that they are suffering, that they are in difficult places, darkness, and so on. So this is, how to say, a kind of a confirmation that this notion of purgatory is not something vague and uncertain. It's something which has, at least for the spirits, a reality. And we can tell, even for us incarnated, we are sometimes, when we tell, when we are in a very good place, good state, and calm, quiet, and so on, we are in heaven. When we are in a very, very difficult place, we tell we are in hell. So it's a way of describing the status or state of minds, and also the places where we are and where we are living. And on earth, as you also told, there is suffering exists. So it's a fact. So some people are suffering here, and the understanding we get now from this spiritual view is this suffering is coming from the law of cause and effects, and is linked to imperfections that we still have. The day where we will not have any imperfections anymore, as per our work, our own improvement, our own will, then the suffering stops. And the purgatory is something similar. So it is a reality. Also in the spiritual world, as you have seen on the movie, it's dark, you have mud and whatsoever. It is a reality for the spirits. Why? It's this question of ideoplasty. The thoughts are giving a form, becoming a reality in the spiritual world, which things that we do not see here on earth. It's this semi-material world, which is a spiritual world, where this ideoplasty is happening. And here in our material world, we are somehow protected to this of this. And basically, the purgatory then is a kind of a place which is created by the thoughts of the spirits, which are gathered. They come together by affinity as per their thoughts, and are then creating, even without being very conscient of this, a kind of a place like the one you have seen in the movie. So, but again, it depends on us to improve our thoughts, and then we immediately, we very quickly go out, as Elsa described. We are rescued, we are in the spiritual world to come to better places where we can beneficiate from some cares. And it depends only on us, on our thoughts, our state of mind. If we go out of this vicious circle and enter in the beneficial circle, the opposite one, then we kind of automatically, as per the law of affinity, go out of such places that are commonly called purgatory. So it is indeed a reality.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you all. I think that's a good moment. We can show a second video, again, 2 minutes, to illustrate more what we have received information from the idea of purgatory. But before that, I want to say good evening to João Moreira. He's with us, and more people here. I can see it's increasing the numbers of views. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope you like it. If you have any questions, you have any recommendations, please write, and we will be more than happy to do our best in order to answer a question or improve anything from here. Okay, so let me pull up the video here.
We are in Rome, a city known around the world for its history and art, but few people know about this small museum dedicated to the souls of Purgatory. It's on the banks of the Tiber River in the only church in Rome built in Neo-Gothic style. It's one of the most original collections in the Eternal City. Father Jouet, first parishioner of the church, dedicated himself to spreading the devotion of the souls of Purgatory. That's why he has traveled throughout Europe searching for stories told by the living about visits from the souls of Purgatory asking for prayers.
The Museum of Purgatory, as its name rightly bears, is a collection of documents of apparitions that the souls of Purgatory made in Europe to ask for prayers.
Here you can see the burn mark that Palmira Rastelli left on the book in 1871. With this apparition, she asked that several masses be offered for her soul. For this other object, the print of the hand of Luisa Le Senecal on her husband's nightcap. She visited him in 1875 to ask him to pray for her.
Our brother collected all these testimonies to spread the devotion of the souls of Purgatory. This is the prayer for those who are in Purgatory and that have not yet entered heaven.
The museum's mission is to revive the ancient Christian tradition of praying for the souls of the dead that have to purify themselves before entering heaven. It's a devotion welcomed by the church that has nothing to do with extraordinary or paranormal phenomena.
These are personal objects that don't interfere with faith at all. We believe in purgatory because it's a dogma of faith. These documents don't increase or diminish it, but they remind us of the reality of purgatory and of the souls that are in it.
It's a small museum in memory of those that can't yet see God, and they are gracious for some help through prayer.
Okay, so now we have...
Stevan,
Yeah.
I would like to comment a little bit about this museum of Purgatory, because this museum is now open to the public. Not every day you have to, especially now lockdown. We forget lockdown, but in normal times the museum is not open every day for everybody, and only for now 30 years until 30 years ago it was totally closed. No one knew about it, but never visit them, because everything there is mediumship. Of course, communication between dead souls in purgatory and the souls, the spirits was saying, we're still alive. We have to communicate, saying to the fathers and nuns, because how can a hand of fire burn a book in 30 pages until the end? So they have this there. Aprons, the nurses' aprons, totally marked with hands of fire as well. So many things totally impossible to do in normal material world. It's something that the demonstration to the church, especially in Rome, the information that the spirits want to tell them. They are not in hell or heaven, not only purgatory, because they are communicating not souls that was only asking prayer, but the souls that want to communicate related to families or other things that we have today in our mediumship meetings. For us, spiritists, it's so common. It's not something weird to communicate with the spirits. For the spiritualist people as well, mediums, the spiritualists can bring information from the spiritual world to their beloved ones, as we do in our spiritist private meetings. So the information is there, but when you close and they make dogmas and teach people political ideas, of course, it's difficult for people to open their minds. But what we are doing with these short lives that we are doing now is open a little bit our minds, open our eyes for the spiritual world, about reincarnation, because reincarnation is the key for everything, evolving, be a good person, do to others what you want the others do unto you. This is a psychology of life. If we open our mind, make more studies, more research that is easy today to do through the internet, we really will see in a different way the way that we are living now. Perhaps we can even modify, change the way that what we are living, think a little bit more in environment, about our bodies, what I am doing with my body, my soul, because the future will be the reaction to the action that I'm doing now. Isn't it?
Yeah, and just to add to Elsa again, today I'm adding to Elsa, just to mention that we had a live talking about the letters from beyond. No? So in those, there are studies now, and from a few, maybe 10 years to now, we have even more and more studies about the mediumship and the communication with the spirits, no? And there was Dr. Ian Stevenson was a psychiatrist, Canadian psychiatrist, and he did many cases of reincarnation and birthmarks, especially in children. And there was an article published in 1972. Already in 72, he published for the Journal of the American Society for Psychical Research 3 cases of poltergeist. So there's communication from spirits that some people call poltergeist, because poltergeist in German is the noisy ghost. So they were raps knocking on walls and or knocking sounds, no? Or flying objects, or the bricks flying from a place inside the house, things breaking, glass breaking, shattering without a cause. So he collected 3 cases that he went to investigate and study and talk to the witnesses, and 2 in India, and 1 he got in from a letter from a family member of the witness from England, and they were all mediumistic communication, because they were objects coming from one house to another, and the person witnessed this object. Not just, it wasn't thrown by anyone. It was just like flying on, from one house to another, and it suddenly appeared. It disappeared from one house and appeared in another, and it was on the air. And he was comparing the difference between being from a spirit, a discarnate spirit, object or subject, like he said, and the human being. So if there was a person throwing it, it would be like a direct throw, and this object would shatter. And how can this object go from one house to another without nobody seeing it, and then suddenly be on the air, and then slowly going down on the floor? So like there was something doing it, so a spirit. And he, at the end of the just to mention about the communication, so all this the souls that were trying to communicate with the living people, they were asking also for prayers and for themselves, to help them to come out of this purgatory that they didn't use the purgatory word, but this was the representation to the place where they were. And Dr. Ian Stevenson mentions at the end of in the discussion of the article, that he suggests more research already in 1972, more research in this field of mediumistic events, and to open the minds, not to be closing doors or disregarding it as an imagination. I mean, how can it be an imagination or an affection because the person just died? So this person had an affection, and then he had hallucinations, but no. So we need more investigation, serious investigation, like Dr. Ian Stevenson did, and in the field, and to prove, like, systematically, and that there is the existence of the soul. And we shouldn't be afraid of talking about it, because it's in the nature, is in here.
Thank you, Nadja. Thank you, Elsa. Charles, as a spiritist researcher, can you say why spiritist philosophy contemplates purgatory? Is this a physical place or is a state of mind?
It's well, thanks for the question. Thanks also for Nadja and Elsa for the statements about these videos. Clearly, it's a state of mind more than a physical place. But again, the state of mind and the thoughts are creating a reality in the spiritual world. So it is not a physical place, but again, it has a reality, okay, which is linked to the state of our mind. So this video is also very interesting because it tells, okay, once in this binary system, heaven or hell, irrevocably definitive and so on, when somebody is dying, okay, either it goes to heaven or it goes to hell. So in one case or the other, you cannot do anything. It's done and fixed for the eternity. So even in this case, the prayer has no meaning. So somehow they brought this notion of purgatory, showing that the prayer for the souls are, to say, necessary for these souls in purgatory. And of course, then came also an abuse of this because they asked money for the prayers. So in the Spiritist philosophy, it's very clear, the souls which are communicating through the letters and the communications, they are telling us, yes, the prayers are helping us a lot, in particular when they are in some difficult situation that is called here purgatory. And so this shows that this, how to say, if our beloved ones are passed away, still we can help them through our prayers. And this is a reality which is also demonstrated by the Spiritist philosophy. And as such, this notion of purgatory brought at least this improvement to encourage the prayer. But of course, we encourage the prayers for free and not the prayers which are paid. So definitively, it's a state of mind which creates a reality in the spiritual world that is called purgatory, and that has been described by Dante Alighieri, by the spirits that we have seen in the movie, and voilà, so, which is recognized by this priest in the video.
I would like to add something that came to my mind now. That, for example, I am a mother. I am a good person, almost saint. Imagine, no? And I have 2 sons. And I love my sons, of course. they are the age 15, 18. The 18 is a bad one, robbery, murder, go to the jail, force things, etc., and commit suicide. Go straight to hell, accordingly to some Christians' beliefs. And the other son is a very nice one, is an angel, do everything good, etc., die as well, and go to heaven. And I am a mother, and I love my son that is in hell now. How can I be happy and go to heaven and leave my son burning for the eternity in hell? That is crazy to think like that, really crazy. God is our supreme intelligence, creator of the universes, and create incessantly, expanding, expanding, expanding all the galaxies, etc., bigger and bigger, trillions and trillions of stars. We have no numbers to count the stars. And his justice, everything according to divine laws is justice, justice. So it's impossible God create a perfect being. We are a perfect being, physically speaking, beating our hearts, working our lungs. If we stop breathing, we die, body dies, and God is perfect, and giving us this perfection as well as sons and daughters of God. So if he is justice, if he or she, what we don't know, is an energy, how he can put his own son on hell forever? It's a crazy thing. It's a medieval thing to think like that. We have to be open-minded for this century to gain more space in evolution, open mind, and try to be a better person to help each other. Of course, we have to pray for our beloved ones that departed, was a murder, was a suicide, or etc. We don't let them go without praying for them, without helping to them, to send a light to them. One day I can be in this situation if I'm a good person. That's something that we have to improve in our lives, not always accept everything as is the end of the information and that's it. No, question, question, and question. It's the best thing to do. Yeah? It's in my mind.
Yeah, that's important to believe in the spiritual world and the reincarnation, and the opportunity to progress. Reincarnation is an opportunity to progress and to correct our mistakes. Because, as I said at the beginning, we all know we are not perfect souls, we're not perfect spirits, and we are always evolving. So even if we are not so good people in this moment, in this incarnation, we still have the opportunity, like those in prison. So I've heard a story about, we were in one of our study groups, a very mean criminal. He was in jail, and there was a group of spiritists visiting the jail, like the Catholics do and the evangelical do in Brazil. They go to the prison and they talk about God, and this spiritist group were talking about the spiritual world, the reincarnation, the possibility of correcting your mistakes, and this one of this prisoner, this very mean criminal, he started crying, and this is a real story, and not so old, like a recent one. And he started crying, and then they went to talk to him and asked, why you're crying? And he said, like, well, I thought I was going to hell, and I was, I had no option, I had no opportunity to be a better person anymore. So that's why I was committing crimes after crime after crime, because I had no other reason for being a good person. So, and then when he realized that he had the opportunity to become a better person, to be forgiven, and have the opportunity to correct his mistakes, with reincarnation even, or in this life, then he changed his life. And I don't know what happened after that, but that was very interesting to hear. And this second part of the Heaven and Hell book, we have two parts. The first part is a philosophical part, and then the second is an interview with spirits, true mediums. And Allan Kardec is organized in different levels of spirits, let me say, according to their conditions, we can say. So the happy spirits, the middling condition one, those who are not so bad persons, but didn't do any good either. The suffering ones, those who realize that they have done something bad, but then they regret, but they are still close to the material world and suffering because of guilt sometimes. Suicidal criminals, hardened spirits. And he talks about the terrestrial expiations. So these moments of reincarnation. And I just want to summarize a story about a spirit called Sismel Slisgol. I don't know how to pronounce this because this is an Israeli Jewish name from Vilnius, so the capital of Lithuania. That's why I'm telling also this story, because he was beggar, very poor beggar and Jewish in the 1865. So in very, very hard times, especially for Jews as well, and poor beggars and homeless Jews. And he was always begging for money, of course, and he was working, but he was also begging for money, for help, and to help the widows and the children. And of course, at the beginning, he had suffered a lot throughout life. All his siblings and mother had died when he was very young, and his father was very greedy, so he left the family. So he suffered a lot. And then when he was alone, when he was about 20, 30 years old, he was alone and poor, and they had nothing. And then he started begging for the children and for the widows, because he thought about his family, his siblings and his mom. And people started helping him because he was really giving all this money that he got to the poor, to the children, and to the widows. And the minimum that he could have for his survival, he got for him. He didn't want to. And then when he died, and everybody, the whole city, followed during his funeral. Then the spirit of this is Zimel Slisko. He came to communicate with the mediums and Allan Kardec about what happened after, and why he was so humbled and suffering so much in his previous life. And then he was telling that before that, 300 years before this 1865, he was a very rich from the royalty person, and he was very mean, and he was always taking all the money from everybody, even from the beggars, as taxation at that time. And then he had to spend 250 years in the Purgatory, reviewing and suffering all the feeling for being a bad person and materialistic person at that time. And then he had, of course, the merciful God to help him, and the good spirits to help him when he decided to ask for help. And God and the good spirits gave him the opportunity to come back to life and reincarnate, and he decided to be a beggar and a very poor person. And then, of course, after this experience, he evolved greatly, and he was in a better condition than in that purgatory that he was before this that life. So just showing that how many lives can change you, and how can you evolve and progress through reincarnation. That's it. I'm sorry.
It's a great story from Vilnius. Yeah. No, yeah, good. Yeah. And I'm just wondering here, Charles. Uh, we are in Europe, which we suffer a lot from medieval times, from church impositions, and now we are talking here something about that is neither heaven or hell. The purgatory is just a state of mind. The purgatory exists, but it only exists if you imagine, if you put yourself in that situation. And then we have many books from, let's say, Allan Kardec, from Leon Denis, especially Leon Denis. He goes really beautifully explaining how it is this, how works this conception of action and reaction. All the. Do you think we are in a change of viewpoint?
Yes, sure. I mean, the religious concept basically followed a missionary, which was Jesus in this case, but let's say the religions that came out of it, the Christian religions, were built by mankind. And somehow, unfortunately, this is the case almost everywhere in the world, religion has always been a mean to dominate people, to dominate the masses. And for this, they had to had some instruments to dominate the people. And one of them is exactly this hell, question of heaven and hell. Heaven, you have to do what I tell you to do to go to heaven. Otherwise, if you don't do what I tell you to do, you go to hell. And the people were afraid, and they simply accepted this, and simply at the end did what they were asked to do. So this has been the system along of centuries. And then progressively in Europe and also elsewhere in the world, in US or wherever, you had some people, they became aware of it. You had the Reform, of course, Martin Luther and so on, who they were exactly, how to say, making a contestation about these abuses, and came back to the root. But then they took these old books, Gospels, and take it at the letter, which was maybe also not the best way to face it. And then you had from starting from these big revolutions, like the French one was end of the 18th century, 19th century, and so on. This new approach which were coming, autonomous approach.
Yeah.
No, there are laws of nature. I can study this law of nature. I can understand them. I can see what happens if I make something in harmony or something infringing or in disharmony with this law of nature. I can understand the law of cause and effect. So in a rational way, you take a hammer, you hit on your finger, you have pain. This is law of cause and effects, and that you can very easily understand. So you don't need anymore to have someone when you develop this autonomy and this developing the intelligence of the law of nature. You don't need anymore, and even you don't accept anymore this heteronomous approach, because you understand that it is a source of a lot of abuses and of all what we have seen along the centuries, including even recently. In Ireland, you had these religious wars when I was young, so it's a kind of some decades ago. So spiritism philosophy really is disrupting with regards to this, showing now we have to study to understand what is happening, to understand this question of purgatory, the law of cause and effect. And then this is motivating us, stimulating us our will, our own will, to do as per our free will what is correct and what is not correct, what is according to the law of nature and what is not correct. And with this, we are building ourselves to each one according to his works. This is this also this nice teaching we got from the Gospels, which is in fact true. So it's up to us to build our future and to escape or avoid situations called as purgatory. And even when you look to our Earth, there are some nice things on the Earth, but also today it's not, let's say, the house of angels. It's difficult, as we can see every day in the news. So it's up to us to progress in intelligence and also in morality, so that we can incarnate in a planet or in a world which is more in harmony with us, more elevated than Earth. So, so Earth, in some kind of thinking, is also a kind of purgatory where we are living today. But it's up to us to escape from it. And this is, you see, this difference between autonomy and heteronomy. And in Europe, particularly, I'm born here, so nobody wants to come back 200 years ago to heteronomous stuff, to religious guys dominating, imposing you this and that, and the system of education where you have to learn everything by heart, even if you don't understand it. Nobody wants to come back to this anymore in Europe. That's clear. And Spiritist teaching came exactly in this period after these revolutions to bring this alternative view, this alternative philosophy of life.
Thank you, Charlie.
Stevan, this is important to mention something regarding that is not a purgatory, nor heaven, nor hell, but is limbo. Limbo is regarding the small children or baby when they born and they died. The baby is not going to hell or heaven, no purgatory, but going to another place forever, limbo. That when I read about that, I said, "Oh my God!" Because as a spiritist, my children never baptized themselves. I didn't baptize my children because I'm a spiritist. We don't need this ritual, etc., only for social things, no. But there are, I don't know if nowadays, still there is a limbo for children that they die without baptizing, the family doesn't baptize the children. What you say something like that or not here in your country?
Yeah, it's another idea which is not correct, because the child is young, but the spirit can be old. You know, through the incarnation, the spirit of a child is a spirit, of course, during the period of child up to 7 or adolescence and so on, 7 years before they become a teenager and so on. The children are kind and so on. But as soon as they become a teenager, then you can see the real quality and the defect of the spirit is popping up. So here again, there is no special treatment. Everyone is treated the same way, because how could a child be condemned or go to heaven if it did not do something for that? And this is also, by the way, gave some abuses. You had some people killing children because he was thinking that they would go immediately to heaven, you know. So we have to stop with this type of things which makes no sense. And even a child dying, it's an old spirit, so it has its merits, its good things, bad things. And again, when it recovers its consciousness of spirit after passing away, because when a child is passing away, this takes also sometimes the spiritual world, then it comes back again automatically to the places in affinity with his state of mind, with his stage of evolution.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Elsa. I didn't know this about limbo, Elsa. And Nadja, we are on our last 3 minutes. What's your final words, my dear?
Well, I talked a lot today, so, but yeah, I think I agree with all of you. You know, it's a state of mind depending on our thoughts, our vibration. We will attract that to us, and we will go to the place that we are imagining. So I think our moral and spiritual evolution is to be made here now where we are, and we can always progress. We have this opportunity now to progress, to be better people, and to avoid going to this mental state, which is the purgatory after the death of our body. So I think we have to be grateful for being here at this moment on Earth to have this opportunity to progress, to become better people, so better person. Yeah. But if we can change our vibration, our minds, our thoughts, and become better and do good for the others, we can change our future. So.
Yeah. Elsa, your final words, my dear?
My final words is that we have to use our brain in a better way, as Charles pointed, autonomy, not heteronomy. Our children, if they die at small age, not go to limbo, no purgatory, no heaven, because they have a state of mind. They will be in a place that the spirit should be, and not what the church said, eternal place, never. Our place is our mind. Where your mind, your thoughts are, you are there. So thank you very much, everyone that be with us today, tonight, or morning, depending where you are. And thank you for everything, for the benefactors to help us to be here. And we will be together next week for a new talk. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you, Nadja, Stevan, Charles. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching us and for giving our time.
Your final statement, my dear friend.
Yes, again, I mean, thanks also for the opportunity for listening us. Really going out of this material limitations, materialistic view, and opening lateral thinking to the spiritualist paradigm, it really changes completely our understanding of law of nature. It gives us the strength to seek in ourselves the power of our soul, to use it, and according to our free will, to our intelligence, in the sense of doing good things, knowing that we are the first punished when we do bad things. We receive by the law of cause and effect the bad things back on us. And if we do good things, it's the opposite. We enter in this beneficial circle because what we do onto the others as good, we receive it 100 times back for us as well. So let's clearly understand this as a law of nature, and let's take it up and do it. Thanks a lot for the opportunity, and all the best for everyone.
So thank everyone. I'd like to say thank you. We had friends here from America. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Maria Lopez from Brazil. Tessa Skiparis. I don't know where you are, my dear, so thank you very much. Thank you, Elsa. Thank you, Nadja. Thank you, Charles. And my 2 cents is, this bothered me because I needed to reinvent myself. And we need to use our brain. We need to use our logical way to think. We need to use our state of mind in order to progress, in order to open our eyes and walk towards I not say the reality, but something which we will have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. So once more, thank you. And I'd like to say thank you to Kardec Radio for the opportunity to be here with as well. So we have a lot of people here who's manifesting here saying thank you to us, Rubens Roberto, Lilian Dejean, and Josea. So thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure to be here. We will see you next Thursday at 9 p.m. Enjoy your night, enjoy your day or your afternoon, and it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We hope you have enjoyed our program. Spread the word